All right, so today is hopefully the day that this thing's gonna get started. I have everything I need that now. Let me just kind of like go around and show you exactly what I'm gonna have to do to get this thing to work. So, one issue I had was that my spark plug wires don't fit around my headers. I'm gonna grab one. You can kind of see like, it just doesn't fit in there. I need to get ones that have like a little 90-degree end right here that will just like slide right up in between. So I'm gonna have to start it without the headers, which is gonna be a little ridiculous, but at least I'll know it will run. Sadly, it won't sound quite as good as it will with the headers, but I at least want to be able to start it up. So there's that. Just pull the radiator off. This is just kind of sitting here. Finish up plugging in some of the harness. I have to get the grounds on. I gotta get my fuel plumbed in to my fuel rail. It's sitting over there. I'm actually gonna drain the fuel, so I'm probably gonna go plug in the fuel pump really quick and just have it just drain the E85 from when my car used to be tuned. I need to rewire the cam positioning sensor, since this is, like I said before, this is like a Gen 4 front cover and I'm running like a Gen 3 harness, so I need to get like a little adapter for that. And after that, we gotta have fuel, gotta wire the starter, like I said before, the fuel pump has to be wired up, and that should be it, and it should start. So, oh yeah, from before, the oil block thing, obviously that was like the biggest issue. Here's the two. This is the one that goes straight down, this is the one that goes sideways. The only kind of like sucky thing is I'm gonna have to pull the engine up again a little bit, just like loosen the engine mount bolts, so I can fit this in there, because it's kind of a tight fit to actually be able to like get this bolted up. So I'm gonna do that really quick while I'm draining the fuel, but let's get started. So I forget which one is the send and return line that I made. I gotta show you guys how I did that. I basically like welded one shut, so because the FRS has like two send lines and it controls it with the ECU. Welded one shut coming from the fuel tank, and then I'm gonna basically route it back down into the fuel tank as a return line, and then the one that's left alone is a send line. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fuel pump for a second. It's either gonna go on the floor or in the fuel jug, so if it's wrong, I'm just gonna switch them really quick and then I'll start draining the fuel. So here we have the old plug, we have where it goes into the fuel pump. Now these two are the power and ground. If you remember watching my old video, every single thing in the car, all it needs is a connection to the positive and a connection to the negative terminal of the battery. So you have 4 wires here. These two are the ones that actually, the smaller ones are the ones that control the amount of fuel that comes out and everything through CAN bus and the way the FRS actually runs fuel. And these two thicker ones are the power and ground. So all I gotta do is plug this in. I'm gonna cut these. I don't think I'm gonna solder it yet, because I don't want to like have it be permanent where I'm gonna wire it up to. But I'm going to probably just crimp some wires together and then touch it to the battery, which I have sitting right here, and turn it on. Okay, so I got the battery hooked up to the chassis of the car, so I can just save some wire because there's no need to like waste anything, just to make sure that I'm actually grounded and completing a circuit. I'm gonna go ahead and touch my multimeter to the battery. Hopefully it just kind of stays there. So it's touching. Now I'm gonna touch the chassis of the car. It's bare metal and the roll cage, and I'm getting voltage. All right, so the car is grounded. So now I can just put one end on the fuel pump, just touching like anywhere really, and then the other end, the positive terminal of the battery. Okay, so I went a little bit overboard. I got the ground on the actual body of the car right there, and then I ran my switch panel to the power. So now when I turn it on, as you can hear, the fuel pump's on. I just have to be super careful, because if that drops onto the chassis of the car, it's gonna arc and like start welding, and there's fuel here, which is scary, and then also that, which is for like the starter button, can't touch it either. So I'm just gonna like be really careful, but let me show you that fuel is actually coming out. Now, fuel is coming out. So I'm just gonna let that sit for a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and start kind of getting the engine ready to get pulled up. so I can get this oil block in. But yeah. So here's a quick update. You can kind of see it in there. I had to notch the steering rack to get the fittings to fit. I have the headers on right now, so it's kind of hard to see from above, so I can test fit the line so they don't burn up. But yeah, so I got it all in. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten down all the oil pan bolts now. Take the header off once I wrap this kind of around the inside so it stays out of the way, it won't get hot. And yeah, then I'm gonna keep going. So once this is all done, I'm gonna probably just go ahead and put oil in it and make sure nothing's leaking, nothing crazy's happening. And then after that, I'm gonna start working back on the fuel and the wiring, but it's super close. Probably only like a couple more hours of work and I can turn it on. Okay, so I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. I gotta go do some stuff, but yeah, sorry if I'm going super quick. I really wanna get this finished so I can actually start it today. But the oil stuff, it's all plumbed up. When I get back, I'm gonna put oil in it. I'm gonna finish doing the fuel rail and I'm gonna finish the wiring and we're gonna turn it on. So yeah, I definitely think I can get this done tonight. There's nothing that's gonna stop me. So be ready, because in the next like 5-10 minutes of this video, you're gonna hear some V8 noises. Okay, I'm back. All right, so I just picked up some gas. Now we're gonna put oil in the car and finish putting the fuel rail on, pump the fuel up, and we're gonna get this thing started. So let's get to work. Now put the oil in. Gonna get the oil filter a little oily first. And screw it on. Okay, so really good news. I got it cranking. I kind of skipped over a lot of stuff. Obviously, I want to get this done. It's really late, and I'm trying to show you guys that I'm trying to start the car, really. I'm not trying to show you guys anything. It's really for me, but yeah, let me show you. All right, so I got the starter in there wired up, just to the switch, and priming a little oil pressure. It isn't leaking at all, which is super good. So I'm gonna wire in the ECU now and the fuel pump, and we should be turning this thing on. All right, so time has come. I have the ECU all wired up. You might be able to hear it click on and off in the car. That's kind of like my kill switch that I'm gonna try to use. Fuel pump's wired up. I had a leak on one of the O-rings, but I replaced it. I'm gonna use this as a return. I'm kind of lazy and don't wanna like go into the car and hook it up for real. The starter's wired up and we are ready to start. My battery isn't cranking hard enough, so I'm gonna steal the battery out of another car or one of our dailies and see if that helps. So for some reason I'm not getting fuel now. It's kind of weird. That was before. Yeah, I gotta figure out why there's no fuel coming out, because the pump's running, so it has to be something to do with the line or the pickup, but I'm gonna go play with it right now. All right, we got fuel. So it seemed like there's this weird like plunger thing that came out in the actual like fuel bucket. So I think that's what was causing it. Oh, gotta take it all apart again. I even think I heard it pop out. It's so weird. All right, so it's like 3 a.m. I have some fuel leaks on like the return line stuff. that I'm gonna probably have to work out, and I just can't get it to turn over for some reason. It might be something to do with like the cam positioning sensor. I'm honestly not really sure. I'm gonna have to like do some research on it, but it's like so close. So hopefully it's something like really simple, because it cranks well, everything sounds good. But yeah, well, hopefully next time. All right, so it's the next day. I had to really just kind of go to sleep and think about everything. It was really late and I was tired, so, but I did some research and stuff, and there is a crank positioning sensor that is hiding kind of behind the alternator. I'll show you in a second, and it won't get spark at all if it's not plugged in, and that's the issue I was having. I was getting fuel and everything, I just wasn't getting spark. So I'm gonna go plug that in. I'm gonna fix the fuel system a little bit, because I have the return line going in like a little fuel jug, and it leaks a bunch and it's not good. So I'm just gonna like actually kind of plumb it up, and then we're gonna get it started and it should be running. All right, so here's how I set up the fuel, which I've been talking about for a little bit, but I've been too lazy to show you. So basically, you have your two fuel lines. There's one fuel line that tees off, and there's two fuel lines, one right here and one right here. So I took where it turns into a steel line, and I welded that shut so nothing can come out. So there's only one send line, which is, sorry, this one right here. So the other end of this, the like return, is this, and I'm basically going to take that other hose that I had and plumb it up through under the fuel tank up here inside the car, and just drop it back down into where the like fuel bucket is for now. So back inside the car, I have fuel line routed up. I'm just gonna unscrew this thing so I can just dip this in there and have the full return system. Later on, I'll make like a little grommet and actually drill into the fuel tank and just kind of have it go back in like it normally would. All right, it is all plumbed in, or the fuel is. Battery's plugged in. I got a feeling this time, I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's see. Okay, I'm back again. This video is gonna be really choppy. I tried last night and I originally thought it was the crank positioning sensor that was bad, because apparently that's a really common problem, but I think I actually figured out something else that it probably is. So I have like the little manual thing that comes with the wiring harness, and let me show you what I found. So these two wires right here that look exactly like grounds are apparently constant power, and I think these are actually what help power the coil packs, because there's the single little ignition wire that goes into the ECU. Just like, I was thinking about that, it just wouldn't be enough. I just feel like to power all the sensors and everything, plus, I mean, the coil packs obviously amplify a lot, but for all of them, it just kind of seemed weird. So I think this is gonna be it, but I'm just gonna get straight into trying to start the car, switch it around. It's super easy, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I just plugged those two things in, and I have ignition, and I cranked it to prime the oil a little bit, and it started to fire. So I think this thing's about to start up. All right, this is it. I did it! It's so loud, dude. Oh my god. Do you think I can piss the neighbors off one more time? You don't think they'll yell at me? All right, this one's just for fun. I think the throttle position sensor is like messed up or something, because I feel like, I don't know if that's just it getting up to idle because it's so loud, or if it's just like climbing RPMs for some crazy reason. Oh, that's so crazy, dude, it works.
I
I did it, boys. I can't believe this thing runs. It is so crazy without headers. I don't know. It took a lot to get to this point, but obviously there's a lot more to go. A lot of people helped me out, like everyone from the past videos, like with the drive shaft, or like Tyler coming in and helping actually like get this thing to where it is now. My cousin was super excited to see it run, and he's like, dude, let me buy a part for it so I can be like, so I can help the build. So he helped out. Obviously my wife for actually like letting me build a race car. But yeah, so I guess with that note, I'm gonna close out the video. I guess it was a big success. I was struggling past couple days thinking that there was just no end to it, that there's some sensors are wrong or like little things here and there, but I'm super happy I got it figured out. Like I said, there's more to come, so stay tuned. There's a lot more to do to the car to get it actually driving on the street, obviously. But yeah, so leave a like if you like loud V8 noises, because that was pretty ridiculous. You heard my neighbor come out and was just like, oh dude, you got it running, because he's been watching me work on it here and there. But yeah, we're waking people up out here. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, because this thing's gonna be drifting pretty soon, especially where it is now, so stay tuned.